Every story has a turning point, a moment when everything changes. The turning point.
I wasn't expecting a message from Josh. We don't talk much these days. He's 15, at that age where even a 2-word text feels like a gift. So when my phone buzzed that morning and I saw his name, my heart jumped a little. I thought it might be a meme or a photo of his dog, something simple, silly. But it was a video, no caption, just a 10-second clip. I tapped play. The camera was shaky. It looked like it was filmed in a basement or a garage. Dim light, concrete walls, a single bare bulb swinging slightly. A group of teenagers stood in a circle. One of them was seated on a folding chair, head down, hands in their lap. They weren't speaking. Not exactly. It was more like murmurs, whispers, laughter that didn't feel kind. Then one of them, off camera, said, "You know what to do." That was it. The clip ended. At first I stared at the screen, waiting for more, waiting for a punchline, something to tell me it was a joke, but nothing came. I replayed it once, then twice. The seated kid didn't move, didn't look up, and I swear, I'm not sure, but the voice that said, "You know what to do," it sounded like my grandson. I sat there, phone in hand, heart pounding for reasons I couldn't explain. Maybe it was harmless, maybe it was a skit, something for social media, but something about it felt wrong, off. I typed, "Josh, what is this?" He replied almost instantly, "Oops, not for you, just a dumb video, don't worry." Don't worry. But I did. I saved the video before he could delete it. And for the rest of the day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Something wasn't right. And deep down, I knew I wasn't supposed to see it. I watched the video again that night, alone, lights off, volume low. Each time the same chill crept up my spine. That voice, the tone. It wasn't yelling or laughing, just calm, too calm. And the boy in the chair, something about the way he sat, frozen, like he didn't want to be there or couldn't leave. I zoomed in, trying to make out faces, details. Most of the kids were in hoodies, heads down, like they didn't want to be seen. One of them had a bandage on their wrist. Another kept glancing at the camera, like they were unsure it should even be recording. I paused the video at the frame where the voice spoke. I don't know how to explain it, but I felt something turn in my stomach. I raised Josh. Not fully, but enough. Weekends, holidays, summers. I know his voice. And if that wasn't him, it was someone doing a very good impression. I couldn't let it go. So the next morning, I called my daughter. She answered on speaker. I could hear dishes clinking in the background. "Hey, Mom, everything okay?" I hesitated. "Have you noticed anything off with Josh lately?" She sighed. "Teenagers are always off. Is this about the haircut?" I told him it looks ridiculous, but no, not that. Just mood changes? Is he acting secretive? There was a pause, then a careful, even tone. "Why are you asking?" I told her I got a strange video, said it might have been sent by mistake. I didn't mention the details. Not yet. She brushed it off. "He probably meant to send it to a friend. They make these weird little role-play things. You know, a fake drama, like a game." I asked her if she'd seen any of them. "No, and honestly, I don't care to. It's just teenage stuff, Mom." I wanted to push. I wanted to tell her it didn't feel like a game, but her voice had changed, defensive now, protective. "I don't want to make a big deal out of nothing," I said. "Exactly," she replied. "He's a good kid. Let him be a kid." I said goodbye, but the silence on the line stretched a little too long before she hung up. That night, I opened the video again, and this time I noticed something I hadn't before. On the wall, in the corner of the frame, a sticker, faded, peeling. It said, Miller's Auto. That's the shop 2 blocks from my house. I suddenly realized this wasn't just some video from the internet. It was filmed nearby. I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, replaying the video in my head over and over. That cold voice, that still figure in the chair, the words, "You know what to do." And now, that sticker. Miller's Auto had been on the corner of Linden and 8th for as long as I could remember. It used to be a fully operating repair shop. But a few years ago, the main garage burned in a small electrical fire. Since then, it had been mostly storage, some old trailers parked out back, locked fences, a for lease sign that no one seemed to respond to. I told myself not to go, that I was overreacting, that it was probably just an old sticker someone used as a joke. Still, I couldn't shake it. So the next morning, just after 9, I drove by. I didn't expect anything. I just wanted to see. The chain-link gate was slightly open. Not much, just enough that it didn't look locked. One of the trailers in the back had a tarp flapping loosely in the wind. The garage door was covered in graffiti, but the sticker, the exact same one from the video, was still there, peeling at the corner. My hands started to shake. I parked across the street and waited, watched. Nothing. Then, just as I was about to leave, I saw movement. A figure, hoodie up, black backpack, slipping around the side of the building, quick, casual, like he'd done it a dozen times before. He didn't notice me, but I noticed him, Josh, my grandson. He disappeared behind the trailer, and I sat frozen in my car, every instinct in my body screaming something different. Go, follow him. No, leave it alone. Call his mother. Call the police. I didn't do any of it. I just sat there staring until he came out again 20 minutes later and walked off like nothing had happened. He didn't see me. Or if he did, he didn't show it. I waited another 5 minutes, then slowly pulled away. That night, I tried calling him. He didn't answer. I texted, Josh, can we talk? Just us? No reply. I went to bed with my phone on my chest, screen glowing softly in the dark. At 2:17 a.m., I finally got a message, just one word. Don't. I didn't sleep after that message. I just stared at the word, don't, glowing on my screen like a warning. Not a plea, not a joke, a command. And that, more than anything, told me I was right to worry. The next day, I printed out a still from the video, the one with the sticker. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. Part of me wanted to walk into that trailer lot and demand answers. Another part knew how reckless that would be. Instead, I went to someone I trusted. Her name was Carla. We used to teach together years ago. She'd retired early, but her husband was a detective before he passed. She knew how to read people, and more importantly, she didn't think I was crazy. I showed her the video, let her watch it twice. Then I showed her the still. When it ended, she was quiet for a long time. Then she looked at me and said, "You need to be careful." "I'm not imagining this, am I?" I asked. "No, you're not. But if that's Josh, you can't handle this on your own." I nodded, but I didn't agree. Because the truth was, I already had tried reaching out to his mother, to him, and no one wanted to listen. No one wanted to believe there was something dark happening just beneath the surface. So I started watching more closely. I checked Josh's public posts, not much, just the usual school jokes, memes, a few photos with friends. But the comments, Some of them were strange, inside jokes, codes almost. One comment said, S2 drops soon, with a fire emoji. Another had just a single number, 87.3. That night, I clicked on a link in his bio. It led to a private site, password protected, of course. The homepage was black, minimal. Just one line at the bottom. Do you like watching? It chilled me. I didn't go further. I couldn't. Instead, I took screenshots, saved everything. I didn't know what I was dealing with yet, but I was starting to understand that this wasn't just teenage role play or online games. There was something real behind it, and whatever it was, my grandson was right in the middle. By the next morning, I had made up my mind. If no one else was going to take this seriously, I would. I just needed proof, something undeniable, something that couldn't be brushed off as just teenage stuff. So I did what any desperate grandmother would do. I followed him. I waited in my car 2 blocks from his school and watched as he left at the final bell. Backpack slung low, hood up despite the sun. He didn't come home. He cut across a parking lot, through a side street, and headed, once again, toward the back end of Miller's Auto. He looked around before slipping inside through the same side entrance I'd seen him use before. No hesitation. I waited 5 minutes, then got out of the car. I didn't go in. I didn't have to. As I passed the alley behind the garage, I noticed a blue recycling bin tipped slightly open. Inside, wedged between old cardboard and plastic wrappers, was a small spiral notebook, wet at the corners, warped from heat. I reached in and pulled it out. The first few pages were blank, smeared, but halfway through, the writing started. It wasn't a journal, it was a log. Dates, times, codes, view counts. One entry read, 4-3, session, Wawash L, 12 mins, 87.3 live, 221 replay. And beneath that, next, S2 launch, need stronger reactions. I flipped to the last page, just one line. They're starting to ask questions. If anyone leaks, cut the feed and wipe the room. I felt cold all over. This wasn't a game. It wasn't harmless teenage mischief. Someone, or a group of someones, was filming these sessions, broadcasting them, measuring reactions, like a show, or worse, a market. And Josh, my Josh, was involved. How deep? I didn't know. Was he a victim? A participant? Something in between? I didn't want to believe it, but I couldn't afford not to. That night, I wrote an anonymous email. I attached the notebook photos, the screenshots, the video. I sent it to the local police, to a tip line, to a cybercrime unit I found online. I didn't sign my name. I didn't sleep. And at 4:12 a.m., my phone buzzed. A new video. No caption. No message. Just Josh. Sitting alone. Looking straight at the camera and saying just one sentence. Why are you doing this to me? I watched that video again and again. Josh looked straight at me, through me. His face wasn't angry. It wasn't scared. It was hurt, confused, like I'd betrayed him. And maybe, in a way, I had. I sat at the kitchen table until the sun came up, phone screen still lit, trying to convince myself I did the right thing. I had sent the footage, reported what I found, shared everything anonymously, just like they tell you to when something feels wrong. But now, I wasn't sure anymore. Was I protecting him or punishing him for something I didn't fully understand? That day, I didn't go to work. I didn't clean. I didn't eat. I just sat there, watching the street outside my window, waiting for something to happen. At 2:13 p.m., it did. A black sedan pulled up to the curb. Two men in plain clothes stepped out. No sirens, no fuss, just quiet, practiced movements. I didn't recognize them, but I knew exactly who they were. They walked up the steps to my daughter's house across town. I called her 3 times. No answer. I waited an hour, then 2. Finally, around 5 o'clock, she called me back. Her voice was flat. "Did you send something?" I didn't lie. "Yes." Silence. Then she said, "They took his phone, his laptop. They asked him questions I don't even understand. He's sitting in his room right now, shaking." I tried to explain that I was worried, that I had no choice, that it wasn't about blame, it was about safety, but she didn't want to hear it. "You've destroyed his trust," she said. "He's not talking to me. He thinks it was me who turned him in." My chest tightened. "Tell him it was me." "I did," she said, "and now he won't even look at me." That night, I didn't open the video again. I didn't check for new messages. I just sat in silence, asking myself the question I couldn't shake. What if I was wrong? What if I saw something I wasn't meant to see, and I turned it into a monster that didn't exist? But somewhere, deep down, I knew the truth. That notebook, the view counts, the hidden website, this wasn't nothing. Something real was happening, and it wasn't over yet. 2 days passed. No calls, no messages. Not from Josh, not from my daughter. The house was too quiet, and everything inside it felt wrong, like I was waiting for a knock that never came. So I knocked instead. I drove across town, parked by their house, and rang the bell. My daughter opened the door halfway, arms folded, no smile. "He doesn't want to see you." "I'll wait," I said, "outside if I have to." She held my gaze for a moment, then stepped back and left the door open. Josh was in the living room, sitting on the edge of the couch, hands clasped between his knees. He didn't look up when I came in. I sat across from him and waited. A minute passed, then 2. Finally, he spoke. "You think I'm a criminal?" "No," I said. "I think you're in something you don't understand." He looked at me then, really looked. "You think I hurt someone?" I hesitated. "I think you're scared. And I think you're smarter than the people who are pulling the strings." He laughed, dry, bitter. "You don't get it. No one got hurt. It's all fake. Everyone's in on it." "Then why are the police involved?" He didn't answer. "Why was that girl crying in the video, Josh?" "She wasn't crying. She was acting. She knew the rules." "The rules?" "It's a challenge, like performance. It's dark, yeah, but no one gets hurt." "Then why did you send me that clip?" I asked. He paused. "I didn't mean to. I was trying to send it to someone else." "But you didn't delete it right away." He looked down. "I don't know. Maybe I wanted you to see it. Maybe I wanted someone to ask." That's when it hit me. He wasn't just scared of what he'd done. He was scared of being invisible, of being part of something he couldn't stop, because stopping it meant standing alone. I reached for his hand. He didn't pull away. "You're not alone," I said, "but you need to stop before this becomes something you can't undo." He nodded slowly. "There are people behind it," he said, "not kids, real people. They pay for access. They tell us what to do, what to say. We thought we were in control, but we're not. A long silence filled the room. Then he whispered, "I think one of them knows who you are now." I felt the air leave my chest. "What do you mean?" "I got a message last night from someone I don't know." He handed me his phone. One message, no name, no profile picture, just 4 words. She should be quiet. I read the message again. She should be quiet. 4 words, no context, no name, but the meaning was crystal clear, a warning or a threat directed at me. I handed the phone back to Josh, trying to keep my voice steady. "Have you told anyone else about this?" He shook his head. No one would believe me. I did. I believed every word, because I had seen the fear in his eyes, the kind that doesn't come from guilt, but from knowledge, the kind you carry when you realize you're in over your head, and the adults who are supposed to protect you aren't paying attention until it's too late. But I was paying attention now, and I was done being quiet. That night, I didn't sleep. Instead, I opened every file I had, the screenshots, the notebook photos, the video, even the anonymous email replies I'd received from the cybercrime unit. And I made a new file with my name, my face, my voice. I told everything, how it started, what I saw, what I feared, and what I knew. Then I scheduled it. If anything happens to me, it goes out, to the police, to the press, to every single contact I have. Because this isn't just about Josh anymore. This is about kids being used, turned into actors in shows they didn't write, fed a fantasy that becomes a nightmare behind locked doors and masked profiles. The next morning, I met with a detective, this time not anonymously. I handed over everything, and I didn't look away when he asked the hard questions. Yes, I knew my grandson was involved. Yes, I understood what that meant. No, I wasn't going to protect him from the truth, only from the people who tried to make him a product. They started the investigation that same week. And me? I went back to being a grandmother. I cooked, I checked in. I waited. Josh is different now, quieter, but more present. He's not ready to talk about everything, but he knows I'm here when he is. As for the people behind that message, they haven't reached out again. And if they're listening now, watching, I hope they understand one thing. You messed with the wrong grandmother.
If this story moved you, there's more to come. Subscribe and don't miss the next turning point.